Hey everybody, in this episode of the Riverdale After Show, we're breaking down Season 3, Episode 15, Chapter 50, American Dreams. Archie's knocking people's heads off, we've got FP ringing in a birthday, and Veronica is kicking Reggie to the curb. We're going to break it all down next.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey everybody, it is an all-new Riverdale After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV, covering every episode of Riverdale, every Wednesday nights there on the CW. I'm Frank Moran.
Hey there, I'm Elena Jordan.
I'm Zack Peter. I'm not buzzed, but I'm after buzzed.
I like
music.
And our fourth on the panel, Sam Davidson, is on assignment, off seeing
She's real buzzed.
Yes, an important Hollywood screening. What could it be? Who knows? It could be Shazam. Who knows?
Oh.
Maybe.
Oh.
I've heard rumors that that's what's going on.
Okay.
I wonder if she's at the screening that I was going to go to tonight. I gave my tickets away because I forgot that this was happening now. It was
Look how
Emilio Estevez's new movie,
Oh.
The Public, which ironically I thought meant it was a public screening, and it was a private screening of a movie called The Public, and it created a very awkward moment.
But look at Elena. Look at putting us before an Emilio Estevez movie.
I couldn't
thought
stay
you-
away
She
from you
loves
guys.
Archie
I wasn't
so
here
much.
last week. I had to.
Well, thank you for
back.
making time for us. As always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. The chat is up and running as well, so jump in. I'm sure you're already in there right now sharing your thoughts and speculations about tonight's episode and the future of the Riverdale season. So keep doing that as we break down this episode. But before we get into specifics, Elena, I'll start with you. Since we didn't see you last week, what did you think of this episode in general?
I really liked the episode as a whole. I felt like it was structured really well. I feel like they tend to have a theme of either people getting together or everybody kind of splitting up, or, you know, it seems like everybody seems to be on the same page typically. So it makes sense that things are kind of falling apart now. I did, however, almost tear up a little bit seeing Fred. So that was
Yeah.
one
I
thing
know.
about, it's hard for me to even say anything about the episode as a whole because just his line. So I was like, ugh.
Yeah, he just pops in and you're just like, oh yeah, that's right, you're gone, buddy. Zach, about yourself?
I thought it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. I loved all the heartbreak because that's always fun to watch. And we found out that Gladys is finally, or Jughead found out that Gladys is the one running the drug empire. And so now we kind of see his next crusade. I thought overall it was a good episode.
I want to start off with, because it's Fred's FP's birthday. It's turning 50. And we see a scene there in his office where Alice comes by. And I felt like that was one of the rare times this season we've seen Alice speak like a real human being. She's
Yeah.
been so cuckoo bananas with all this farm stuff that it was hard for me to be really invested in her hurt feelings, because I'm like, you've been so bananas. Now you want me to believe that you're really caring about Fred or FP at this moment?
She's bananas because she's in love. And now
No,
we
it's
see
because
that
she's
there's
literally
real
on a
human
crazy
underneath.
farm.
I mean that too.
She's
Burning
on a
babies
cult
and
farm. Yeah, I'm like, I felt bad for her, and I understand why they also have that scene. I think is just to kind of be like, look, FP, there are options. Like, don't be too sad if everything goes to hell and back with Gladys, because maybe we can get Alice off the farm later. Audience, stay with us. Maybe, I don't know. That's what I was thinking. But
Because I feel like we haven't seen them like even have a scene together for the longest time.
no,
Yeah.
not since we started the season off with them in bed together.
Yeah.
yeah,
Other
it
than-
seems like it was just kind of like forgot that's why it was brought up this episode. It was like, don't forget this is a thing too, if we want it to be.
I know we have moments with Alice where like she's like a normal person, where she has like her microphone and she has her little job. Which what happened to her job? Like now she
Microphone in her little job where she lights things herself poorly and doesn't tell
And,
people
yeah.
when they're rolling.
Yep.
it's like dark in a
She
room.
probably lost the we saw how great she was at the job the first time. We're like, wait, that was it? That was the interview?
Her big
it's over
exclusive.
now? Like, what, did they know that it had started?
Like,
She's
her
not very
job
good
just-
at it.
Her job just went away.
Well,
and now
because
she's
she's like, whatever, I'll just like...
Well, she sold her house. Now she's got money.
Plus, all of her expenses are just on the farm. Like, she's just like, I can live on the farm. I can eat. It's a farm.
You can milk a cow. You
That's
don't
true.
need groceries. You have eggs.
I thought you were saying gross, like it's gross to milk a cow, but you were saying groceries. Wow.
Well, we do have, because last week it was set up that
It's kind of gross to milk a cow, though.
That's all I'm thinking now is I'm like, how did she just immediately like into the cup? Like, I don't know. I'm thinking too much weird stuff about Alice, and I don't know why.
No, but she should
Taking a
be milking
turn.
Chad Michael Murray.
What?
it's Riverdale After Dark. Zach, what are we talking
Dang.
about? Yes. Well, we see Alice sells the house, and it was to a mysterious buyer last episode. Were you surprised that it was Gladys, or were you thinking anybody else?
I wasn't thinking Gladys. I mean, that did kind of come out of left field, I think. But
I mean, even her name is awful Gladys. Like, you just think of like an old lady that like is not threatening. No,
she's more of a Mattis.
I didn't expect it to be Gladys, but I wasn't surprised. Like, now they're trying to make her the new big bad.
I was just surprised that the house wasn't burned down. I was like, wasn't that a whole big moment last episode? It was like Betty burned down the house and like, oh, you could just paint over it. Don't worry, we found it immediately.
Yeah,
Like, I was like, well, then what was the point of the burning the house?
There was
It
no
seemed like there'd be
point.
more structural damage to the house.
Completely. Like, there was a big fire at the end of last week.
And like no place else looks like smoky or waterlogged. Like, how did that fire get put out?
Yeah, I was like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. I was like, why are we just retconning everything that happens in all of the prior episodes? Like, deal with it. Archie needs time to heal from his bear attack. The house needs to be rebuilt after it's burned.
Do you think, because Alice says, oh, we had an accident with a candle. Do you think that she realizes that Betty deliberately did it? Or did Betty even try to spin it to her like, oh, I guess I dropped the candle, didn't even realize.
I feel like Betty was like, I burned the house down because I hate you.
Right. Where are they living now?
I guess at the farm?
They're going to move
Betty's
to the
living
farm.
at the farm?
Well, no, she's staying with Veronica.
No. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Because
right.
that was the whole thing, because Jughead was like, well, the good news is you can just stay in your room, which won't be weird at all when your boyfriend's room is literally right down the hall and you're living like you're his sister, but not really.
Yeah. In their trailer. Well, now they have their new house that was Betty Cooper's former house. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's weird,
That's
right?
weird,
And she's
now
like,
that I
I think I'm just
processed
going to
that.
stay at Veronica's.
Yeah.
Like, that was the most genuine scene to me, was like, yeah, that's weird, though. Like, even that's too weird. Like, I don't know.
Well, we see when Jughead finally puts the pieces together that, oh, guess what? My mom is doing Fizzle Rocks. She's going to take
Did
over.
he really put the pieces together? I feel like a lot of people like had to tell him.
Well, true.
It was like an Archie moment where like we needed to make it clear.
And she,
Betty-
and,
yeah.
and he needed official confirmation from Fangs and Sweet Pea as well.
Because even when Betty was like, somebody's taking over Fizzle Rocks, he's like, yeah, and I think it's Hiram. And it's like, no, let her finish. Like,
Yep.
you're not very good at leading this gang. Oh, don't worry, Betty. I got this already. And she's like, oh, okay, cool.
Your gang is the one that's helping your mom run this drug empire.
Oh, Mom. Drug kingpin.
Oh, dang, gang.
That's we see though Gladys at least she didn't try to lie. She was like, yeah, that's me.
But the part that and I had this moment outside as we were watching was like, didn't she buy the drug empire from Hermione?
Yep.
So obviously she had money to buy her own damn house. She didn't need to run a drug empire. Like, obviously she had money in the bank. Like, her excuse was like, I needed to provide for you so we can, live a happy life with money. And it's like, well, clearly you had money.
Well, we're assuming that the house is more than $75,000, which apparently is the number that was so big that it had to be written on a piece of paper and handed over, and then 2 episodes later explained that it was exactly $75,000.
Fair. But I feel like in Riverdale, like, it's not that expensive. Like, you can get a decent place for,
Lay it on me, Zach. What do you speculate that the real estate for a good mid-level entry house?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm bad at real estate.
Please make a spinoff just called Riverdale Real Estate.
Riverdale Real
You,
Estate.
like,
$1 Million Riverdale. What is that show? $1 Million? No,
$1 Million
that's
Listing?
$1 Million Listing. I was thinking $1 Million Matchmaker.
Would you say plus or minus 400,000?
I would say probably a little less than 400,000.
really?
Okay.
Yeah. It's
It depends if
Riverdale. It's
somebody's
not that
been murdered
nice.
there or not. There's been a lot of murderers.
It's not like a place people want to live. Like, it's not like I don't see people rushing to Riverdale. I'd rather
I mean,
live in
lots of people are
Greenville
trying
with
to move
Sabrina.
in. Oh, well, same. Except for no, because, like, same thing. Like, the whole Buffy thing. Like, I'm like, stop living on the Hellmouth. What is wrong
Yeah.
with you guys? Like, if everybody's dying around you, move.
Well, that's true. I mean, this is a city that's been quarantined. They had a huge riot. They've got a prison, a private prison that's being built on there that's being used. I would think the property values have been driven down.
Slash those
Yeah,
prices.
I think after they were like, our water supply causes seizures, but just in the girls, and we don't know why. And it's like, oh, how much is this house again?
$75,000.
People were still lining up to buy it until Betty was like, "My
Who
dad's
was
a murderer."
really trying
This
to
is
buy
where-
it?
That lovely couple.
They did not. They were broke.
They were there for the free cookies. They were there for the open house cookies. We already know.
So when Gladys at least a cops do it to Jughead, says, you can't tell FP because if this will shatter him. He's already on a kind of a wobbly edge already. If you tell this, it'll break his heart. Do you think FP? I mean, he's had his rough times, but he seems to have got his act together. Do you think he is on such a precipice that finding this out would just drive him back down to like drinking and being just a gangster again?
I mean, he looks like he's seen some things. You can see it in his eyes that like I feel like he would get over this. He would find a way to shut her down, and it wouldn't like end him.
I could see why Jughead thinks that it would be like the end, because even he starts the whole episode with his like film noir type narration where he's talking about, on the eve of his 50th birthday, my father had all the American dream things. He had the wife, he had bacon,
Yes,
Bacon.
a loyal hound,
yes. There you go.
a daughter named Jelly Bean.
I will give it up for the bacon though, because I like my bacon crispy. So that bacon was
Me
nicely
too.
done.
It
I
looked
like
really
bacon
good. I was
crispy.
like, I'm in. The Joneses know how to cook their bacon. That makes me like them even better. But I mean, I feel like the whole Alice scene existed just to be like, hey, there's other fish in the sea, even if that fish is on a cult farm and is crazy town banana pants right now. She might swim out of that near-death experience and right into your heart.
Because I really don't have a gauge. Do either of you how FP feels about the farm and Alice?
I mean, he probably thinks it's like her Avon. She's just doing her thing.
Wow.
There you go.
Instead of
silenced
Avon,
the
just
pen.
an
That's right.
Avoff. I love it.
We're doing a little Tupperware party tonight, and we're talking about the farm.
I'm just like drowning myself and throwing babies into barbecue pits.
You want to have a Tupperware party? How long can you hold your breath? I'm gonna do it.
So this is and this gets into, I guess possible predictions, but I'll ask it anyway. Is you feel like Riverdale, sometimes they will accelerate the plot and sometimes they'll kind of drag it out a little bit. With Jughead, it was kind of all hinging. Does he, right there in front of everybody, does he tell FP what the real deal is? And he doesn't. But how long do you think Jughead keeps it to himself before telling FP?
2 episodes.
Oh, really? I think probably he'll let it slip by the end of next episode.
Oh,
I don't think he'll be able to
holds it
bite
in.
his tongue that long.
He's not good at keeping secrets.
Especially if they're about to move into the house. I think that's when he's like, okay, this is going to be a permanent thing. Like when we have like ink on paper and like Gladys
I
and
think it's going to take him at least one episode to
FP.
really kind of like, ooh, maybe I can take my mom down and like not let my dad find out about all this. And then he's going to realize he can't, and then he has to come to his dad.
I think that's going to be the entirety of next episode, though. I think it's just going to be in one. I don't know.
If the next episode wasn't about Heather's, I would maybe think it could be. But I feel like that's going to be such the
true.
focus.
I'm over the
true.
musical episodes. I can't.
Yes, yes.
Like, I get
like
it. You have
Heather's,
one
though.
per series, but like, it's like we have one of these every season.
Get ready.
But I love the psych out that they're like, it's Godspell. They're like, jokes. Heather. Croquet, y'all.
Well, speaking of, let's talk about Cheryl and Tony. Elena, what do you think of the status of the relationship? Do you feel like this is doomed for failure, or they just need to, they can work it out?
They just need to bang in a bar. Just bang it out in a bar.
Well,
while
that didn't
there's
solve
this
anything.
Split screen with Archie getting his butt kicked. No, I think that they're just done, honestly. Like, I feel like Cheryl is such a control freak, and now that Tony's kind of coming to her own, their main issue, though, is communication. Is they don't talk to each other enough. Like, Cheryl keeps planning surprises without consulting Tony and then getting mad when Tony's like, I have other plans. I'm like, well, maybe tell each other your plans and stop throwing surprises because it's never worked out.
Zack,
They're not compatible.
you don't think so?
They're not compatible. I mean, it's a constant power struggle between the two of them, and I think they're two alphas, and two alphas don't always work out.
Yeah. I don't know why Cheryl gave Tony the pretty poisons, but I don't know why she feels like she has, other than teaching them some archery, I guess she doesn't do that much with them, but I don't know why she can't.
That's what I don't get too. Like, I'm like, all right, well, if Betty is like friggin' serpent queen, why can't you just be like, what up?
Yeah.
I'm queen of the pretty poisons with the other like your actual ruler queen.
Yeah.
Well, I think she wants all the power is what it is. Like, she wants to be able to control all of it because she's used to being the ringleader.
Yeah.
I just feel like the fact that Tony gave secret rent money to Grandma Blossom, I'm also
Who had
like,
no idea what it was even for.
yeah, I was like, don't give this lady with dementia this like money and don't
blind
like,
eye.
and don't tell your like what that was when I was like, Tony, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like that's one of those things I tell Cheryl, like, I don't feel comfortable just living here without
Yeah,
paying
I
my
think
way.
I would like to
Yeah.
pay my way and not just be like, I'm gonna secretly give money to your grandmother with dementia and not explain and just constantly be broke. Like,
And what happens if she forgets that you've been giving her money? And then, like, what do you do? Like, no, bitch, I gave you money. Oh, I'm going to poke out your other eye. Like,
okay, that's a whole new story. Tony
I took that
pokes
one a
out
little far.
Cheryl's
I ran with
grandma's eye because she doesn't remember the money that
I
I
ran
feel
with
like
that
they
one.
would like that Cheryl would just find hordes of money like squirreled away. Like, what have you been doing, Grandma Blossom?
Selling fizz rocks.
Oh,
They're like,
yeah, she's a
"Oh,
hot
Grandma
spot.
Blossom is the hot spot.
Yes.
All I was thinking with hotspot was Pokemon Go, and I was like, what a sad, sad existence I live.
I was thinking didn't AT&T have hotspots?
Yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah?
true.
Yeah.
Domino's has hotspots too. Again, sad, sad
See,
life.
depending on what your definition of hotspot is, says a lot about you.
That's true.
You can order pizza to a beach. It's amazing. I'm sorry, I'm
No, that's important news. That is important news.
Domino's hotspot.
How do you do that? Oh,
You
that
go
is-
on to hotspot and you're like, find me. And they use GPS. They're just like, hi, which also seems to me like a very murdery thing to do, to be like, can you meet me in the woods, like with my pizza? I don't know. It seems a little too Sabrina for me, but
I feel as a pizza guy, like if I had to deliver a pizza to somebody on the beach, I'd be all crabby about having to walk through the sand to get in the sand.
yeah.
machine.
Well, like to
Yeah.
the middle of the woods was like one of their things too. And I was like, oh, can you deliver a pizza to the site of the crime, please?
We want to frame you.
Just, I don't know.
So, lastly, with Cheryl and Tony.
Sorry, I
they-
derailed us.
No, that's great. I love it. I love a great tangent. Great tangents are the best. But Tony's thing is like, hey, I'm living with you, but it's not really our place. It's your place. I'm just staying here. If you ask somebody to move in with you, should you be willing to kind of change it to make it more of a your place? Or if you're the invitee, it's like, no, this is my place, but you can still live here.
If you're inviting somebody to move in with you, then you kind of have to make it your place, or like together, like not just your place, like your bedroom. Like, you know, maybe get some new silk sheets. You know, maybe not all red. Like maybe we turn, you know, things a little pink to match her Tony's hair.
Well, maybe Tony could buy some things for the place if she wasn't giving all of her money to
To
a woman with
rent.
dementia.
Very valid point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing is I'm like, again, communication. Like at any point was Tony like, hey, I'd like to add some of my things to this room. And Cheryl was like, nah, brah. Or did she just never say anything?
I don't think she ever said anything. I think
That's the
she
thing.
wanted she wanted Cheryl to take the initiative.
But I feel like that's if you're waiting for somebody else, then that's
Yeah, you're
that's
always
dooming
going to be
that
in a
relationship.
stalemate.
That's why relationships fail in Los Angeles, Frank.
You gotta
No
be able to-
communication.
Oh.
I mean, we keep forgetting also these guys are in high school. So like
They don't have emotional
banging in a secret
development.
bar to them is like
Just
tip top of a
know my
relationship.
mind. We've got many topics to still break down, but Zach, I understand Alice, before she did another hot interview, sent you some information to share.
She did. She sent me some hot news and gossip, you guys, and I don't even know how to read her Farm Morris code, but I'm gonna try. And I just want you guys to know that we love you and we appreciate all of the love that you show our after shows here at AfterBuzz TV. So be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and don't worry about those pesky notifications because they're totally optional. But if you take them out, you're not gonna get this gorgeous panel every single week, and you're not gonna want to miss it. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. This is a sci-fi channel, and we love when you guys subscribe and love when you comment down below. So be sure to weigh in on the chat. Let us know what you think of Alice's job. If you think that Betty really did burn the house down and did FP build it back, like I want to hear all your theories. So leave them in a comment below. And when you're not on YouTube, if you're listening to us right now in your ears, I'm gonna talk to you really, really slowly. We love you. And please leave us a 5-star review and subscribe on iTunes because we love you guys. Thank you for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk. Right?
Look at that. Look at that.
Alice texted all of that.
That's right. Yep.
But it was like you are for your... She was like,
And then she just put a bunch of farm emojis.
Emojis, yeah.
Just emojis
Pigs.
of farm animals. And we were like, oh, she's on the
Horses.
farm. She's got to go.
We make fun of Archie Andrews because he's
We
a
do.
lunkhead. And he always will choose possibly the worst path to take when he has a decision to make. What do you think about his decision-making abilities in this episode to try to get out of this kill order on him?
I mean, it seems like it wasn't even him really deciding. It was mostly Jughead's plan. He was just like, hey, guys, I'm in trouble again.
See, but like at first when he came up with the plan, I was like, okay, well that's smart. He's just gonna be fighting like all of these like comic book nerds that like have no abs, and then all these like hunky like MMA fighters walk out and they're trying to beat him up. I'm like, how many MMA fighters are playing G&G? Like
You
that
clearly
doesn't
have
match
not
up.
been to Comic-Con. Everybody looks like Luke Cage.
Yes, but those are like the costume fake abs.
Still intimidating when they're coming through a door and there's 10 of them.
I mean, sure.
Also, that one guy with like horns. I was like, those horns can't be allowed in here. Those aren't
Right?
regulation. Get out of here.
Right?
You're gonna gore Archie. He fought a bear.
Right?
Get
Your horns are
outta here.
nothing.
I mean, I guess of one mind, since we had it from last episode where we had the young boy slicing and dicing Archie. So I guess, we still had to wrap up that palette and stuff. But I still... If like
Yeah,
this Griffin
little
Gargoyle-
Ricky.
Oh yeah, little yeah. It's like
Damn
all
you,
right.
little Ricky. I
Little
did
Ricky.
lose. I laughed out loud though, and I feel like it was supposed to be intentionally hilarious when he's like talking to Hiram for the first time this episode, and he's like, "How are you doing?" And he's like, "Good," until a homeless kid tried to stab me in my house.
Speaking of, I don't know. What did you guys think of this version of Hiram we got here? Because usually Hiram's always working an angle, but this time it was like, oh yeah, whatever you need, Archie, whatever you need, take this gem. Here's all the list of all the places you can go to find people that might have these kill cards.
Well,
Leverage. He's gonna bring it back over him later. Hiram is working on something. He's not making it obvious, but he's working on something.
I feel like that could be true, but at the same time, it could be him like, yeah, it was kind of a dick move for me to not tell you that there's at least a dozen people trying to murder you because I told them to. Like, he did agree, like, deals off.
Yeah.
Truths.
So, I
From
mean, if
that
he's going to
point
be
on,
somebody
though.
who's trying to keep his word or whatever, too. I mean, it's
He
likely
didn't
he's
not
trying to, like,
keep his word. He just wasn't like fully truthful.
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty big omission, is like 10 murderers, 11 murderers. I don't know. The math didn't add up to me either, because he was like, all right, well, I gave out 9 and I gave out 3. And I'm like, okay, 12.
Yep.
Like, I get that number. And he's like, here's one from the wardens. And then here's the other one. And I was like, okay. And then they're like, we have 11. I was like, what? That's all of them. If you had the other one, like,
Well, I guess there would be 14 total then, right? Because he gave one to the warden.
I guess it's like what he's saying is that there, no,
He gave
because he
2
said
to
that
the
there was,
warden.
Yeah.
he gave 9.
And 10 more. He gave 2 to the
9
warden.
to
and
Tallboy and 3 to the warden.
No, that's true. Yeah. So that's
3
12.
and that's 12.
So he's got
And he
2
said
back.
exactly, yeah. So he's got. I was like, this is. I'm having to do high school
that's
math.
10. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's 10. So I was like, they're like, there's 11 cards here. I was like, then that's one too many.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
I don't understand. And they're like, well, here comes the guard from the jail. And I was like, nobody is mathing. I don't.
That's true. Yeah, that does
I
not
don't-
add
it was-
up.
Yeah, I was like, that's too many cards. It's too many cards.
Hiram, you liar!
It's like the
Hiram's
house.
like, I went to Kinko's. I didn't know they threw in 2 extra. It was like a freebie deal. I had no idea. I'm sorry.
Promotion.
These cards that you had printed that say "Kill the Paladin" in the most fancy font that every time we show it, it warrants its own musical effect.
Yeah, it's great card stock. I mean, like any they tell you always like with business cards, you want to get that quality kind
Like
of
American
stuff.
Psycho
Yeah.
style.
Yeah, you want something flimsy. So those cards really nicely done.
You want them to last so that the kill order sticks.
Yes. And then we had the last one, number 12. One of the officers
Or
from
14,
prison.
depending
But
on.
yes, that's true. What Officer Golightly? Yes, who
Yeah.
wanted to lay
He
a little
doesn't
bucket.
go lightly.
No.
He goes hard.
I did like the really delayed slow-mo for that last punch to give Archie plenty of time to come in with his uppercut.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, all right, this one's for me. I'm like, all right, sure.
Poor Archie's just taking like a real beating.
He gets bit.
Yeah.
He gets punched.
bit. Yeah. It's
Like a
ugh.
chunk of his flesh was like ripped out and blood was like gushing. I was like, oh my gosh, I
Walking
didn't know
Dead
teeth
style?
could do
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, freaking like full Mike Tyson him. Right in the neck.
Do you feel like this is a moment where Josie should have been there for him?
Ugh,
Yeah,
no.
where the hell is Josie? I'm like, why didn't he be like, hey, by the way, Josie, there's also a bunch of people trying to murder me when we hang out. That might be an issue because they don't really care about collateral damage.
Yeah.
Like,
She's trying to make her music career happen.
That's true. That's true.
She's
true, but a
auditioning
quick
for
text.
American Idol right now.
don't get murdered. Like,
Well, I don't understand with Archie because last episode he is just hanging out of this gym when he's got to start paying dues, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize I'd have to do this. I can't just use your gym for free whenever I want."
Yeah.
So then he gets like a nighttime janitor job. He cleans up the gym, and then all of a sudden this episode, Hiram just gives him.
his
gym.
own
gym.
gym. But I also was like, how good of a janitor are you? Because it was a rough looking gym, bro. Like, not gonna lie, Hiram kind of gave you some garbage.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what is Archie expecting to turn this around? Is either he's using it for himself, or are we about to watch a series of episodes where Archie like turns this gym around and makes it a profitable venture? It's a montage, guys.
I don't think Archie's a good businessman.
I don't think
he
that
would make that happen. Like somebody else would have to help him make that happen.
I don't know. I feel like because everybody owns something and that like all these high schoolers own secret businesses, and I'm also like, you're way too young to ever sign a deed. But
Yeah, because I mean, Sheriff Keller's not doing anything now, right? Other than just helping out FP train the serpents.
so
No,
yeah.
he's keeping Josie's mom busy.
Well, true, but I guess he could help Archie run a boxing gym.
Yeah, it seems like that would make
Yeah.
sense if he was like, help me. Because
Yeah.
Keller's helped him so far.
Yeah, great. So we get to see Archie Andrews, gym owner.
I love too
No.
that it goes from like Archie, I'm sorry, you're just not ready for a real fight, to Archie, fight these 10 dudes
10
back to
dudes.
back.
Yes,
We're gonna watch you get punched real hard in the face, number 1.
that's right.
Get bit, number 2, and then we'll just quick montage. There's 9 more.
I just want to see the episode where Archie's worrying about towel fees and things. It's just going to be great, guys, where it gets into the minutia. Guys, you have to bring your own locks to this gym. Okay?
Then we just get an awesome stylized cut of Reggie like washing dishes like for his minimum wage
Yes.
while Archie's like washing the towels, and they're both like,
What are we doing?
while 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton plays in the
Oh
background.
my gosh, yes.
Well, speaking of Reggie, to go to your point with these young kids owning businesses. So we've got Veronica first
Yes.
with her speakeasy. There's that scene when things start, they're like a little tense moment where she just goes and pours herself a little drink, scotch or whiskey or whatever it is. I'm like, this is 16, 17-year-old. And she's just sitting there, do.
In her own
Dude,
bar.
dude.
In her
own
like
bar.
Yeah.
it makes no
It
sense.
is so bonkers to me that it's not a bigger deal.
Yeah, but that's exactly how I felt that episode when they were like trying to reprimand Jellybean for getting coffee, and I'm like, your kid runs a gang. You gave him that gang. Like,
And I mean, you've got FP there, the sheriff of Riverdale. He's hanging
Yeah.
out in a speakeasy owned by an underage teenager.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds great.
They're all just like, it's fine. And then I love all the extra things. They're like, the casino isn't allowed in this secret speakeasy run by teenagers. So we better do some really, I was like, what renovation crew do you have that can just put in
Right.
all of these?
Don't you owe somebody $75,000 like twice?
Yes.
Yeah, like how expensive was that? Like, and also if Reggie did all that, then yeah, you should pay him a lot more because wow,
You should get his
he's
car
like
back.
Inspector Gadget in here.
Right?
I want to. I'm digging Reggie, but I feel like again, it's a character we don't get nearly enough of. But what did you think about him? Laying down the tough love with Veronica.
Reggie getting edgy.
Yes.
I'm here for
I mean,
it.
it's about time. I feel like she unintentionally just bulldozes over him, and he's always like her little wingman and everything, and he does it because he loves her and she's taking advantage of him, and I think it was time for him to grow a pair and really kind of stand up for himself.
Do you think he needed to pull, like, I want to be a business partner with you? Or, I mean, I guess he just wants to mean something. So,
Yeah, I feel like that isn't out of line for him to ask if it's like, hi, we gave up my car that I love for collateral, and also you just sent me by myself into this prison to go get all of this equipment single-handedly, bring it out, and burn it. So that wasn't an easy task that we didn't even get to see on camera. So it's like, all right, Veronica. He really has done everything for you silently in the background when we just slow-mo on your outfits.
Serves at the bar. He's like a bouncer. Like, he does everything she needs. Like, we all want a Reggie.
Yeah. I think it's funny they also go back and forth between the cocktails and the mocktails.
I know.
Like, that's the only thing is they're like, Reggie can pour a mean mocktail. And I'm like, you have whiskey in that. That's not a mocktail.
it's, I mean, I guess he does throw out the point, like, if it wasn't for the speakeasy, would they even be in any sort of even, like, friends with benefits situation?
No, but, like, I like them together. That's one couple I do enjoy in Riverdale is Archie and... Oops.
Hey,
Reggie. We know where
Reggie and Veronica.
Or is it
I
just
like
because
them.
they have really good chemistry because they're dating
They
in
have
real
really,
life?
Oh, are they dating in real life?
They
do
are.
have really good chemistry. Well, like, some actors, like, even when they are dating in real life, have horrible chemistry on camera.
And these guys mix well like a mocktail that's
Yeah.
served at a secret speakeasy for
A
teenagers.
spiked mocktail. It's just the right stir.
Spiked Mocktail is my new band name.
I don't know, like, Veronica, I've never heard that expression before. Nobody walks on water here except for me.
I didn't get that.
I got it, but it was just such a B-word thing to say. Like, it's like, nobody here is God of my house except for myself. Like, it's like a Jesus walking on water
I mean,
reference.
I guess.
But it's also like, this man is doing all this stuff for you. Like, pick your battles, pick your battles.
I mean, she did buy his car back. So.
He puts her on water. He puts her on a pedestal. Like, she's going to lose all of that for what? She's going to be a lonely, sad businesswoman drinking her whiskey and no man.
Well, I guess it's, according
That
to her, it's
doesn't
been
sound horrible. That sounds like a delight. That sounds like personal goals, honestly.
it's been, what, a couple months since her and Archie broke up?
Yes.
So do you feel like, is she incorrect to still be kind of like, I'm taking it slow right now because it's such a devastating breakup? Or are you like, just get over it, Veronica. You got to get back in.
I mean, considering they're in high school and that's their whole thing, is like, she's like, oh, Archie, it was so devastating. You were gone a week being like chewed up by a bear. So I immediately had to bang Reggie. Like, what else was I going to do? You know, so I'm like,
What was it when he was getting mauled by a bear? Wasn't it when he skipped town?
Yes.
he skipped town, but
So she had no hope that he would. Well, she wanted him to come back, but she got over that real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, those dimples make it easier.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's one thing when you give these kids like they're owning businesses, you give them adult-sized responsibilities that you start expecting them to act like adults. When, yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, you're still teenagers. You're 16, 17.
they're
still figuring it
hormonal
out.
little teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't expect them to, you know, like, yeah, so Veronica, get out there, go crazy. Get your freak on if you want to get your freak on. And if you don't,
Veronica.
just hang out and sing with Tony at the La Bande Nuit.
Yeah.
Except for, yeah, I'm like, if you're going to sing Call Your Girlfriend, like, maybe you should call your girlfriend first and be like, hey, we're hanging out if you want to come hang out too, especially if she's already made it clear that she's pissed.
Yeah, like, because when Cheryl does show up for the speakeasy, and Reggie's like, oh, she's down there, like, Reggie already knows that this is going to be an uncomfortable situation. Like, oh, all right, cool. And then they're just singing, having a good old time.
Yeah. And it's like, well, why did nobody invite Cheryl? If I was Cheryl and I was like, hi, I gave you this gang. Do you want to invite me to hang out with you guys sometimes?
Valid point. I think Cheryl is just better doing musicals, and Tony is good running her little gang. Like, they have their own roles, and they
And then
can
maybe
stick
they can
with
have
them.
like a West Side Story like meetup where they're like, it's gangs and musicals.
Well, I will ask
Let's
the
get
two
back
of you,
together.
Let's get back together.
with this kill order from the Red Paladin lifted, are we pretty much done with Griffin and
No.
Gargoyles?
No.
I
You
don't
know we're
think
never
we're
done with the
ever
story.
getting rid of it.
I mean, I thought we were done with the Black Hood last season, then we saw Hell come back this season. Like, we're never done with the storyline until we've, like, beat it to the death.
I mean, I feel like the only thing we're missing right now is who's the one that killed Anthony Michael Hall when he was the principal, who was running the game back then. That's the only one we're really missing, right?
Yeah. The OG.
Yeah, and who cares at this point? Because there's nobody on the show that we've seen that looks like they are much older, other than Nana. But I haven't seen any other like elderly people that have been even like in the
Nana
background or
was
anything
the
like this.
Gargoyle King.
She may as well have been, because anybody else they show now, it's going to be like, oh, all right, cool. We haven't seen you at all this season.
I mean,
so
Nana was
sure.
probably like in her 20s at the time, and she just killed she like was harassing these high school kids.
I mean, the
That's how she
Blossoms
lost
are
her
all
eye.
about like murdering. They just like it. Like,
I feel like the only other thing is that you find out it is Chad Michael Murray, and he was a contemporary of all the Midnight Club, and he was jealous of them for some reason, and that's why he started this whole thing. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, but he also just seems young. Like, it seems like he would have to be like their like younger brother that was like just also weirdly there. Like, I'm like, I don't know.
Oof. This Griffin and Gargoyles thing can't end soon enough, and I feel like it won't end for another 7 episodes.
No, I want it to
They're
be
gonna
done.
keep playing.
Like, give me the farm storyline. Let's dive in there.
I feel like, I thought we were getting set up for that, and then we just keep dragging our heels for that. Let us get
I also want to see the farm, like besides just like the barrel bin. I don't know where
Yeah.
they were just like, this is where we keep our one tiny tub that we drown our cult members in. Like
Yeah, like they all live there, so like I want to know like what their bunkie situation is like, and like
Yeah,
how
what's the
life on the
farm
farm.
like?
Yeah, like
Not just
sell
the
me. I might
barn.
sign up for this.
Okay, well,
Really?
don't sign up
No.
for the.
Well, I mean, it
Barn
depends. I
cult.
need to know how good these accommodations are.
It doesn't look great from what I've seen thus far. Just saying.
Like, give me a brochure. Sell me on the street like Scientology. Like, give me something.
I don't know. We haven't seen those twins in a while. I feel like nothing good is happening at the farm.
And it seems like, at least from the preview for next
But they
week,
seem to be happy. Like,
they wear their little cult clothes.
yeah.
All the white, like the nice like white linen shirt and pants.
Which I'm just like, who is in charge of having to clean all of the clothes at the cult? Like, I'm sure they're like, can we pick a different color?
And why do
please?
cults have to wear such ugly clothes? Like, why can't we be a cute cult?
Yeah.
I will say they made Alice's wedding dress go from real yuck to real cute before they drowned her in it.
I mean,
True.
from real yuck to like, yes, like not as yuck. I didn't think it was that great.
Not as yuck. I wish you would be on Project Runway. And that was not as yuck.
I think it went from yuck to not as yuck. So props on that.
That'd be great on Project Runway.
If you could make it a little less yuck, that would have been ideal. But
Yeah. Just yuck it down.
Well, we will talk about a little news and gossip real quick. So
we're gonna yuck it up.
Yeah, we're gonna yuck it up. Well, we know we have the Katie Keene pilot that's being getting ready to be shot, and they finally have cast their Katie Keene. That is going to be Lucy Hale. Will be playing Katie Keene now.
Oh,
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I can see that.
Okay.
So it'll be curious to see how this all comes together. So we'll see. So get ready if
I
you
like
Lucy
Lucy
Hale
Hale.
fans. I didn't
She
watch
hasn't-
Pretty Little Liars or anything.
I did
I
watch
did.
Pretty Little Liars, and she hasn't had a hit since then. So I'm hoping this works out for her.
Yeah, she had that series last season on the CW that came and
Life
went.
Sentence.
Yes.
Yeah.
That like got canceled before it even finished airing.
Yeah. Also,
trying.
speaking of actors that have other projects going on, Cole Sprouse, Jughead
Yes.
Jones.
Yeah.
He's got a film coming out this weekend called 5 Feet Apart there.
Yeah.
About cystic fibrosis and stuff. So he's going to be in that film coming out this weekend.
Fun.
Yes. So go out there and support. If you like Riverdale, go support that. Although I do another show where I'm betting on the box office results for this weekend, and I don't want to see this movie. So don't go see this movie. Don't go see it.
Oh, look
Yes.
at that.
No, don't go see it, guys.
You don't think it's gonna do well?
I don't want to see it. I
Why?
don't, yeah, I don't know.
Do you think we've had enough?
It just
enough
feels
of
like a
these?
fault in
Right,
their
just-
stars, like times 2, where
Yeah.
it's like,
Yes,
oh,
well,
if you
like
thought
the
it meant
knockoff.
something when we had tubes and one teenager, look at this. They both have it. It did seem a little, I don't know.
I'm all right with
I
that.
like Cole Sprouse, but
I
Yes.
like Cole Sprouse.
Definitely.
I don't like
He's a good
somewhat
actor.
exploitative
Well,
hospital shows.
to segue into a little predictions,
Oh.
of course, next week we've got our musical episode for Heathers.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV.
And Cole Sprouse did not sing last year for the musical episode.
Intentionally?
Yeah, he wasn't. No, he did not sing for that. I don't know. I think I remember reading articles where he was like, yeah, I'm not gonna sing. I'm not a singer guy. But he
Bring
will
in his
be.
brother.
He will be singing this episode.
Yeah, Dylan.
So Zach, you've already made a comment about how excited you are for
So excited.
Heathers. Have either of you seen the Heathers musical?
No.
I know the songs from it because I've heard them on my
iPod.
on my playlist thing, but I haven't seen it live. I've seen clips from it.
Are the songs catchy?
Pretty catchy.
All right.
Pretty catchy.
All right.
So
So
I mean,
better
it's
than,
an interesting choice. I mean,
better and worse than Carrie.
There was a Carrie musical?
That was last season.
Oh my God, that sound.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Heather's it'll fit better in that they keep trying to set up this high school dynamic, even the beginning here where it's principal has to tell everybody to get your gangs in line. So I mean I don't know, I think it'll work timing wise, and the songs are catchy, but it would be nice if they could get the rights to something that is a little bit more well known.
Like Miss
I don't
Saigon.
Like Miss Saigon, yes.
No? No? All right. Zach, I assume you are going to be ecstatic about this.
I mean, as much as I love, a musical episode like I love a root canal, I think I think I'm going to be more looking forward to seeing how they develop this Jughead dynamic with his mom. And how and when FP finds out, and if you're right or I'm right in terms of when he tells FP,
timing.
I think it's going to be more than one episode, and
I
I'm
think you
betting my
might be
money on
right.
that.
Just because Heather's is probably, I think,
Gonna take it
yeah,
up.
gonna. Especially since she already announced, I'm Heather Chandler and it's happening, and I was like, oh, okay, they're going way
All
into
the
it.
way.
What do either of you think the odds are that the season ends with Alice and FP together?
I would like that. I actually like them together just because they were we were in love in high school and we were bad kids. Now we're not as bad kids. One lives on a
Alice,
farm and
oh.
one runs the sheriff. I would love to see it happen. I would say chances are maybe 8 out of 10.
All right.
I think they're pretty strong.
I think it'll probably end up that they end up together, especially since Jug does not want his mom in the picture
Yeah.
at all at this point. But I do think that it's weird whenever because then what happens if Alice is hey, you know what, JP, let's stay in my house together and we'll be together as a couple.
That's
Want to bring your
awkward.
son? My daughter's here too, and they're also banging. I don't. It's just I don't know. It's weird to me.
I did like the way it ended with Jughead saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna protect Jellybean, save Jellybean, protect my dad, and drive my mom out of town. You want to help?" I like that.
I did
little,
like
yes.
that.
All right.
That was a nice little tag. Nice button.
So much excitement and so much enthusiasm for next week's Heather's episode. We can't begin to tell you how excited we are.
I genuinely am excited.
All right. Okay. Good. That'll
All
be
right,
good.
whatever.
It's good that at least one person will be
I'll
excited.
sing the praises for the singing of
Yes.
the praises.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this episode of the Riverdale After Show. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and thank you all for hopping in the chat and sharing your thoughts. And if you're watching this after we stream live, feel free to comment down below. Sam Davidson loves nothing more than to open up those YouTube comments and read them as she's drinking a nice glass of Merlot and watching Riverdale on repeat. Yes, but if you want to stay in touch with any of us even after the show's over, Zach, where can they find you?
I'm Zach Peter, and you can find me at Just Plain Zach across all of the internet.
Or in the bunker.
Or in the bunker with Archie.
I'm Elena Jordan. You can find me on Twitter at Elena Jordan and on Instagram at Elena J. Jordan.
And follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Folks, we'll be back here next Wednesday night with just a salute to Heathers on an all-new Riverdale After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.